Hi guys, I am going to give it another 2 minutes before we get started on this live. So welcome in, come in, come in, come in, come in. This is Can you guys hear me? Mic check. Mic check 1 2 1 2. One more minute. I hope you guys are doing well. I don't have anyone in here right now, but I should be playing some music right now. Let's play some gospel music. Oh no, but I'm not trying to get flagged. You already know what that is with YouTube. I'm not trying to get. Hi, welcome to my channel. Hi, we have 1 more minute before we go live. Please like my own video. Like, share, and subscribe, you guys. Thanks for joining. Okay, so this is actually, yeah, so we one more minute. Can you guys hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. Comment and go in a comment and let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me, guys. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. It's 7 o'clock. So first of all, I want to say welcome to my channel. It's your girl, Dr. Yeti, and welcome to the Bon Bee, aka the Good Life. Today, you guys, I just wanted to do a quick video talking about embracing God's blessings and just waiting for his blessings, being patient on his blessings. So what exactly is God's plan? What is God's plan for you? Do you understand what it means when they say wait for God's plan, right? God's plan is really about what his purpose is for you. God has a purpose for everyone on earth. God has a purpose for what he wants everything to be like, right? And his plan for you aligns with his purpose for everyone on earth. You play a role in his plan for you, right? And so God wants you to be great. He has this vision of what he wants for his people. And he only wants nothing but greatness for his people. And if you don't understand God's plan and you don't believe that God's plan is for your best, then you're not going to get far, essentially, because your will is not as good as God's will, right? You can always do what you want to do. You have that free will to do as you please. I want to look at the camera. So give me one moment. I need to make it lower so you guys can look me in my face. Okay. Is this better? Okay. 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 Oh, why is it doing that? There we go. So God's purpose for us. Sorry, guys. Trying to clear it up. There we go. So now that we understand what God's plans are, what is God's plan? We know what God's plan is. Okay, I'm fine. Thank you. Now that we understand what God's plan is, it's essential for us to know that in order for us to live the best lives on earth, we have to align with his plan, right? Our desires, the desires of our heart, have to align with the plans that God has for us, right? So I'm going to read some Bible verses right now so you guys can really understand what the purpose of God's plan is for us on this life, right? So Matthew 21, verse 21 1 to 22. So before I get to this verse, right, this is about Jesus. This is about Matthew. And at this point, Jesus was walking down, he was hungry, and he saw a fig tree, and he was hoping to get some figs from that fig tree. So when he walked by and he didn't see any figs on that fig tree, because the fig tree was so beautiful, it had like, it was blossomed with leaves and stuff, so it looked like it was full. But by the time he walked by and he looked at it, he was like, there are no figs here. So he cursed the fig, and he's the fig tree, I'm sorry, he cursed the fig tree, and he said, this fig tree will never grow any fruits on it ever again. And the disciples were confused. They were like, nothing's going to happen to that tree. A few moments later, they walk by the fig tree, and that fig tree has withered, right? So they were confused. They were like, how is it possible that this man just said something to this fig tree, and a moments later, the fig tree went and withered? And Jesus answered to them, truly I say to you, if you have faith and do not doubt, you will not only do what has been done to the fig tree, but even if you say to the mountain, be taken up and thrown into the sea, it will happen. And whatever you ask in prayer, you will receive if you have faith. If you don't have faith, you could say whatever you want, but it's not going to happen. If you don't have faith, it's just going to be like, okay, I want this fig tree to die. And it's just not going to die because you didn't have that faith, right? And another verse, Matthew 17, verse 20, this is about the mustard seed. If anyone knows what a mustard seed is, a mustard seed is this tiny seed that when planted, the seed grows into this beautiful, huge mustard tree. And the mustard tree has fruits or whatever, but it's a tiny seed that creates this huge, huge, huge tree. And he said to them, this is Matthew 17, verse 20, because of your little faith, for truly I say to you, if you have faith like a grain of mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible to you. So, y'all, I hope this is like something that enlightens you, because the purpose of this live is because I want to get your opinions. I want to get your feedback. I want to get understanding. First of all, this is my life, my first live. So y'all, please bear with me. I want to interact with you as much as possible. I want to get as much feedback. I want to get as much love. So please, bear with me. This is like, this is my first live. So I am a little bit nervous. I will not lie. So thank you. Thank you. So finding your purpose and living in it, right? Once you align with God's will, once your desires align with God's will, everything will fall into place, right? Everything you think, everything you do, every action you make will literally all fall into place. It's like your thoughts would end up getting you to where it wants to be. I mean, not it wants to be. Your thoughts would end up getting you to where you want to be, right? So once you start doing the things that your desires align to God's will, you will end up finding what your purpose is in life, right? I'll give you an example. If you are in a state of, I'm going to just go with the flow of the cycle of life, right? You're not doing what your heart desires, and you're not praying to God to put into your heart the desires that are according to his will, the desires of your heart that align with the will of God, right? Your desires are not going to, they might or might not be fulfilled, but they're not going to get you any closer to finding what your true purpose is. And once you find your purpose, once you find what your true purpose is in life, everything becomes so easy, because you end up finding success by doing the things that you enjoy doing. You find success by finding that purpose. Once you find that purpose, everything falls into place. That purpose is really what aligns you to God's will, right? God has a purpose for you on earth, and your purpose will align with your desires. It will. It's like God created you for a reason. He had a purpose for you when He created you. So now it's up to you to determine what that purpose is. Are you guys understanding what I'm saying? Please let me know. Comment. I want to see a comment to see like you are um, following what I'm saying, because it's very important for you to understand that if your desires does not align with God's will, you're never going to find what your purpose is in life. You're never going to find what your purpose is in life, right? So please okay, good. You're following, right? So your desires come as you serve God and live according to His purpose. You have to live according to His purpose. That's the only way. So now this video is about waiting on God's plan, right? Waiting on God's plan. So it's going to fall into place. So please bear with me. I'm getting to a point here. Okay. So when we determine what God's plan is, when we decide that God's plan aligns with our desires, right? We are going to try to start, attaining that goal of reaching that or fulfilling those desires, right? But in the process of you fulfilling those desires, you are going to experience some setbacks. It's inevitable. It's extremely inevitable. You're going to experience some setbacks. Why are these setbacks important? I'm going to talk about the story of Lot. I'm going to talk about Joseph. I'm going to talk about, I'm even going to talk about Peter, right? But before I get there, I need you to understand that without resistance, there's no growth. Without resistance, there's no growth. If you are going through something, like you're going through whatever in life, in order for you to go through something, there has to be a barrier there. You can't just be going through anything. You have to go through a barrier because you are going through something that's keeping you from getting to where you want to get to. So there's a barrier there. But the thing is, when you get through that barrier, when you push through that barrier, you come out on the other side a stronger individual. Resistance. Think about working out. Think about going to the gym. You can't be strong if you're lifting 5 pounds for 5 years. You're going to stay the same. You're going to be the same person. Shout out to you. You're going to be the same person doing the same things if you don't work out and increase that resistance. You can stay doing the same 5 pounds for 5 years. You're never going to see any form of growth whatsoever. But when you work out for 5 years, and in that 5 years, you have increased the resistance each time, your strength becomes stronger. You become stronger, your muscles grow, and that's because resistance is crucial for growth. Without resistance, growth is impossible. You will never see growth without any resistance, period. I was listening to a sermon today, right? Pastor Vlad. I don't know if you guys looked him up. He is a pastor here on YouTube. And he was talking about how the eagle, right? So when an eagle's born, it is placed in a nest, and the nest has feathers and leaves cushioning it. It's like a cushion of feathers and leaves in the nest. And when the eagle grows old enough to be able to fly, the eagle's mother comes, picks it up, and flies really, really, really high, right? So the eagle flies really high and then drops the baby. And the baby is, the baby gets on the eagle, is excited, but then when the mom drops, it's like, why would you do this to me, mom? It's falling down, and it's like it's 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 scared for its life. But just before that baby eagle, or eaglet as they call them, just as that eaglet is about to hit the ground, the mother comes and picks him up again, and picks him up and flies high, high, high up in the sky again and drops him again. And this eagle does this all through until that eaglet is able to pick up its wings and fly on its own. That is what God is doing with us right now. You're going through what you're going through because you are going to experience things in life. You're going to, I mean, you have a new goal. This is a new goal. You have, this is on what do you call it? Some territories on field territory. This is a territory that you've never seen before. You've never been through this before. So this is something that is a completely new experience for you. So you are going to experience some setbacks. You it's like it's inevitable. You've never been through this before. So you're going through this is going to be uncomfortable. You're going to have to keep doing it over and over and over again until you become comfortable with the uncomfortable, with the unknown. And now it's no longer unknown to you, right? So when you think about a video game, think about a video game. It's a video game, you're playing a video game, and this video game, level one, it's so easy. Level one is so easy. You're like, yeah, I beat level one. I beat level one. And then now when you're done with level one, you go to level two. And level two comes up and you're like, okay, level two, it's a little bit harder, but I can do it. You're doing it. But in order for you to get to level two, you had to beat level one. You had to beat level one to get to level two. So now you're in level two, you're playing the game, and everything looks all good. And then you beat level two, and then now it's on to level three. But level three is a little bit more difficult. Now you're seeing some challenges. Now you're like, okay, this is harder than I thought. I got to put in more work. So you play it, you lose. You play it, you lose. You play it, you win. And you're like, okay, all right, cool. Level four. That is life. You keep going until you get to the final boss. But in life, the final boss, it's a glass ceiling, y'all. It's a glass ceiling. It's there is it's limitless. God's God's strength, God's power, God's grace is limitless. There is no final boss. Well, the final boss is the devil. But the devil has no power because if you follow what like align with God and you have that faith, you will get tested. You will get tested. It's inevitable. You have to get tested. It's like when you're in school, you're going to get tested. In order for you to pass this class, you have to pass the test. You have to pass the test. That's just how it is. You're going to get tested, but you have to accept that test. That test is showing you that you have learned from those experiences. You have learned from those mistakes. Without those tests, you will never be sure of what you've done. When I was in school, I used to be so excited for exams. I used to be, well, not exams, I take that back. I used to be so excited for homeworks. Exams, maybe not, but homeworks, yes. I used to love homeworks because when I would learn something in class and I would learn it, and I'm like, okay, it's time for me to see if I can apply this knowledge, right? And I'll go home and I'll practice and practice and practice until I understood it, right? And I'll go back to my notes and see if I understand it. I'll have to keep doing that until I understood it. And I'll pass, I'll do the homework, I'll get the good grades. And if I don't do good in the homework, I'll go and review it, which is how life is supposed to be. You're supposed to reflect on things. When things don't work out for you, when you see things and it doesn't work out for you, you're supposed to reflect on it and say, okay, what can I learn from this experience? What can I gain from this experience? Yeah, I hope I'm not boring you guys. Please let me know if you are understanding and enjoying what I'm saying. Please, first of all, thumbs it up, thumbs it up, thumbs it up. The more people, the more people that thumbs it up, the more it's gonna get seen within the algorithm. But anyway, so the point is, the more the more you accept this faith, not faith, the more you accept these tests as what they are, tests. They're not, okay, shout out, as what they are. They're just tests, right? They're tests to see if you have learned from this experience so that you can move on to the next grade, move on to the next level. That's all it is, right? That's all it is. So going to the story of Lot, Lot was tested, but Lot still, he didn't curse God. He just said, you know what, this, I have to go through this. I'm not sure why. He didn't understand why he had to go through it, but he persevered and he still had faith. He still had faith that God was going to see him through everything. God was going to see him through. And at the end of it, Lot was blessed tenfold. He was blessed tenfold because he had that faith, right? So that's all it is. If you have that faith, it's going to come for you. It's going to happen for you. Life is going to seem like a video game because it's all a test. That's all it is. It's all a test to see if you're ready for the next level. That's all it is. And God wants you to know, I got you. You're going to be throwing your anchor onto the unknown. It's unknown territory. You're going to throw that anchor into unknown territory. You have to have faith that I'll be there. If you complain all the time, imagine your father tells you, I will buy you these shoes. Right now, he doesn't have the money. Your father doesn't have the money to buy these shoes, but he's telling you how I will buy these shoes. You don't know why he can't buy you the shoes right now. You don't know why he's unable to buy you these shoes, but he told you, I'll buy these shoes for you. Just be patient. Thumbs up, you guys. Please thumbs this video up. But just be patient. He's telling you, if you are patient, I will buy you these shoes. And so you are just like weary and impatient, and you're complaining. Dad said he's gonna get me these shoes, but he hasn't. He lied to me. He lied to me. But your dad has been waiting for his paycheck to come in. He's just waiting for his paycheck to come in. The first thing he's going to do is buy those shoes. But now you keep complaining to him. Dad, you say you're going to buy me these shoes. Why haven't you bought me these shoes every single second of the day? Your dad is going to get tired of it. I told you I'm going to get you these shoes. Be patient. That is how I feel like God hears you as you're complaining over and over and over. God, why haven't you done it? God, why haven't you done it? No, God will get it done. You have to be patient. Things have to fall in place. There are things that need to align in order for things to work in your favor. Romans 8:28. All things happen for good, or all good things happen to those who love God. Okay? All good things happen to those who love God. If you love God, everything is going to fall into place. Everything will happen for the good. Everything around you might seem like it's falling apart. It might feel like everything is falling apart. Nothing is happening. Everything is not working in your favor. But I promise you, forget what the physical eye sees. God is working in the background. God is working in the background. Psalm 91 says, 1,000 may fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, and none will come near you. None will come near you. They might fall in your vision. You will look at them like everything is falling apart. What's going on? But nothing will happen to you. Don't you guys understand? Have faith. It looks crazy right now. It looks like nothing is working for you. It looks like everything is just like falling apart. But I promise you, everything is going to work out for you. I saw a TikTok comment one day. It said, people forget that when you hit rock bottom, God is that rock at the bottom for you to lean on. God is that rock at that bottom. And remember, when you feel like you're at rock bottom, guess what? There is nowhere else to go but up. When you are at rock bottom, there is nowhere else to go but up. Okay? So if you guys have that faith, stop complaining. And another thing that, to do is not to forget the times that God has come to your aid. Things that people forget to do is they forget those times where God came and saved them when they were down. God came to their aid. God showed them favor and grace. They forgot those days because right now they're facing some hard times. So in their mind, they're forgetting those good times and only remembering the bad times that they're facing right now. They're losing faith because they are not where they expect to be. Trust in God's timing, because at the time when you get to that point where you get those blessings and everything comes to you, it's all going to make sense. Think about If you get something and you're not ready for it, if you're playing that video game right now and you start off at level 50, you're at level 50, no experience of the game whatsoever, you're going to lose that game because you have had no experience, no practice. You just started at the hardest level. You didn't even get any experience whatsoever. Imagine trying to take a flight from ATL to Jamaica, and you're on that flight and you find out that the pilot just they just found a random guy off the street who wanted to be a pilot, and he was so desperate to be a pilot, never went to pilot school or anything. They say, okay, you know what, you're hired, fly this plane. Imagine that. How would you feel if someone that didn't have the experience to fly a plane was flying your commercial flight? You have to gain that experience. All that experience is added to your resume. Without that experience, you're never going to be able to excel. Imagine you're going to a job interview and they're giving you interview questions and they're asking you these situational questions. How would you react if this? What would you do if that? If you've never experienced these things, you will just come up with lies and you would have to think really hard to respond to these questions. But if you've experienced these things, even though at that moment when you were experiencing these situations, you felt like, oh, why am I going through this? These people are crazy. At the end of it, now you're having another job interview and you're seeing why those experiences were necessary. Okay? Conflict resolution. You had to experience those things in order to be able to pass this interview, right? So when you are going through things in life, right, you have to have that faith that there is a reason why you're going through what you're going through. There's a reason why God put you through what you are going through. There's something you have to learn at the end of it. Ask God, what am I supposed to learn from this experience? What am I supposed to gain? What is the what is the you know what is the learning experience from this situation that I'm experiencing right now? And once you find that out, once you realize this is the purpose of why I'm going through this, it just becomes okay. Well, right now I have to experience it. I just have to experience it, deal with it. And then, because the thing is, a lot of people stress out about situations that they can't control. If you can't control it, give that fear to God. If you don't know what's going to be the outcome, give that fear to God. And God will deal with it. God will handle it. Okay? But there's no need to fear or there's no need to stress, because if you stress about it, what are you going to gain from it? You're going to get hypertension. You're going to get hypertension. You're going to get stressed out, anxiety, depression. You're going to get things that's not going to be beneficial to you. But you have to be okay with not always having the things that you want, because your will does not always align with God's will. So that's why it is important for you to pray to God that the desires in your heart aligns with God's will, so that the will that you have aligns with what God wants you to wants for you. That's it. If you didn't get that job, if you lost that job, if you lost that friend, oh well, it's just not a part of God's purpose for you. That's all it is. So be patient, you guys. Be patient. Let me see if I have any more pointers. Yeah. So I mean, that's about it. So if you're patient, if you have that understanding that God is a pure, holy God, and He does not know how to do evil. God is not an evil God. He is not an evil God. You can't make it to heaven because of how dirty you are. Right? So you have to purify yourself. You have to repent, ask for forgiveness so you can cleanse yourself. And once you're cleansed, you can make it to holies, right? You can make it through to that point. But in order for you to get there, sometimes these something better than what you want. Yes. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yes. So God has a higher purpose for you. That's a good point. God has a higher purpose for you sometimes, right? Because you think that, oh, I really want this job. I really want this job. But God can literally say, this job is not for you because I have this huge business that is going to make you skyrocket. You know, there's this business idea that you wanted to develop, but because you're so pressed about this job, you decided not to start it. So God said, you know what, I'm gonna take this job away from you so you can focus on the right things. But instead, you're so small minded and you're so focused on this job that you really, really want. But the whole time, God has this huge venture for you that will just make you go to the moon. But you're thinking small, and God wants you to think big. God will, if you don't follow God's will, God will drag you. God will drag you to make sure that you follow His will. And then once He drags you out of that situation, it's better if you just follow His will than just forcefully stay somewhere that you're not meant to be. Because once God drags you from that place, it's going to be harder for you. It's going to be harder for you than if you just said, you know what, let me just follow God's will. Either way, God is always going to try to set you in the right path. It's up to you to follow His path. Go against the grain of what everyone else is doing. Wide is the path of destruction. It's very, very, very wide path. Follow that narrow road. It's easier for you to do what everyone else is doing and just follow what everyone else is doing, but have that faith that God got you. Whatever it is that you desire, have that faith that God will have your back. That's all it is. And God said, faith is considered righteousness in His eyes. When you have that faith, it will be considered righteous in His eyes. So, anyway, guys, please let me know if this live stream makes sense to you guys. Do you guys have any questions? I want to talk. I want to discuss, guys. Like, I want to have a conversation with you guys about this. I want us to have a conversation about, like, what are your fears? Like, do you feel like God has you, or do you feel like now you're lost? Because there are times where I've actually cried. I've prayed to God and I cried and I said, why am I not getting the blessings that you promised me? Remember the Israelites, they complained. Those Israelites, they were supposed to get from point A to point B in 3 days. It took them 40 years. It took the Israelites 40 years to get to where they were supposed to get in 3 days. Okay, guys, thanks so much. Like the video, please. It took them 40 years to get somewhere that could have taken them 3 days because all they did was complain. It was even 3 days. I remember, if you read the Bible, if you read Exodus, after they crossed that Red Sea, they crossed the Red Sea, and 3 days after crossing, they were already complaining. Oh God, I feel like if you had just left us in Egypt, then we would have been okay. We would have been okay. If you just left us in Egypt, 3 days. They haven't even been in the wilderness for that long. They were only in the wilderness for 3 days and they were already complaining. Then they started worshiping a false idol and they were doing all these things because they did not have faith. They kept complaining. They didn't have any food. They complained, Moses, why did you drag us out here to die? Why did you drag us out here to die? And Moses was like, dang, it's only been it's not even that deep. And then so Moses prayed to God. God provided them manna. They got the manna the next day. Oh, Moses, we're thirsty. We're so thirsty. You want us to die of thirst? And then Moses goes, God, these people are gonna stone me to death. Please just help them. And so Moses prays to God. God gives them water, and they'll get everything. They will always complain, complain, complain. And it's like, dang, just follow what God says, and everything will be fine. You are prolonging the inevitable. God is going to bless you. He promised you. But stop prolonging it. Have faith. If you keep trying to do things according to your own will, like, okay, God said I'm going to get married, and so now I need to find my husband. I'm going to go find him right now. No, He said you will get married. Be patient. He will work it all out for you. You don't have to be going out trying to find it on your own. God will provide you for you. You don't have to go according to your own will. Have faith that God got you. He said He will do it. He will do it. Stop trying to take things in your own hands. That's how you mess up. That's how you prolong the inevitable. when you could have gotten married next year. Instead, you're going to make it 5 extra years. Just be patient. Be patient. Have faith. It's going to be hard. You're going to have to push through. It's going to be hard. You're going to come. You're going to feel like he might not be listening to you. But just pray continuously. Pray continuously. Faith without works dead. Faith without works is dead. But Jesus also says that work alone is not enough. Faith without works is dead. So you can have faith that your husband is going to come, but you have to live within your purpose. That's what faith without works is saying. God said you're going to get married. That doesn't mean you have to go and find your husband. It means live according to your purpose. All okay. So Romans 8:28. I didn't finish that verse. Romans 8 verse 28. All good things happen to those who love God and live according to his purpose. Live according to God's purpose. You have to find your purpose. Live according to your purpose, and all God's promises will come to you. That's all it is. If you live according to God's purpose, all his promises will come to you. So when they say faith without works is dead, it doesn't mean you shouldn't put in work. You still have to put in work, but put in work on your purpose, not work against your purpose. Not, okay, now God said I'm going to get married, so now I got to focus on finding a husband. No, 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 no. What is your purpose? Follow that, and you will find your husband within that purpose that he has set for you. It's not about okay, now I have to go and put in work. Who that person is that God is developing you to be will be the person that is going to be for your husband or your wife. Is going to be the person that is meant for the person that is supposed to be in your life. You have to follow your purpose. You have to follow God's will for you. That is the only way your blessings will come. Your blessings will come once you follow God's purpose for you. All good things happen to those who love God and live according to his purpose. Because that doesn't mean bad things don't happen to people. But if you don't live according to his purpose, you already know what's about. Well, yeah, you already know it's not going to be all as great of an outcome if you don't follow his purpose. The outcome that you get is not going to be as lavish, as awesome, flowing with milk and honey like the purpose that God has set for you. Okay. So anyway, guys, do you guys have any more questions, any more thoughts before I end this live? This is my first live, so I'm going to do more things to brighten it up, add some pizzazz, something, but maybe add some music. I don't know right now. This is my first live stream. But if you guys have any questions, please let me know. If not, I'll end the live. So thanks you guys so much for watching. Bye.